Creatine. You've definitely seen it on the shelves, and you've probably heard all the hype in the gym. But what's the actual story? Is it a game changer for building muscle, or is it just a myth with some risky side effects? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise and give you the science-backed facts.
So, which is it? A gym miracle or a health risk? That's really the core question we're tackling today. So let's dive in and break down what the science actually says.
To figure that out, we've got to start with the absolute basics. What exactly is creatine, and what does it really do once it's inside your body?
At its core, creatine is a natural substance that's already in your muscle cells. Its main job is to help fuel your muscles during those short, intense bursts of effort, like a really heavy lift or an all-out sprint. And it's not some weird foreign chemical. Your body actually makes it all on its own from amino acids.
So, where does our body keep all this stuff? Well, a whopping 95% of it is stored directly in our muscles, which pretty much tells you everything you need to know about its main job. That other little 5%, it's hanging out in the brain, kidneys, and liver. And as we're about to see, that part of the story is way more important than you might think. Okay, so how does it actually give you that energy boost? Think of your muscles as having a tiny, built-in battery called ATP. It provides instant power for explosive movements. The problem is, it runs out in just a few seconds. And that's where creatine's magic comes in. It acts like a super-fast recharging station for that battery, getting you ready for that next rep or that next sprint almost immediately.
Okay, this is a huge point of confusion for a lot of people, so let's clear it up right now. Creatine and protein are not the same thing. They have totally different jobs. The easiest way to think about it is this. Creatine gives you the power to push harder during your workout. Protein is what helps your muscles repair and grow after your workout. They're a team, not competitors.
All right, so we know what it is and we know how it works. Now for the big question, what can it actually do for you? Let's take a look at the real research-backed benefits for both your performance and your overall health. When it comes to athletic performance, the science is really clear. The main benefits you can expect from creatine are a noticeable increase in muscle mass, a solid boost in your strength and power, and even faster recovery between your sets. And to put a number on that, one major review found that athletes taking creatine gained, on average, up to 6.5 pounds more lean muscle than those who didn't. And that's over just a 3-month period. That's a huge difference when you're putting in the work at the gym. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. The benefits aren't just for your biceps. Remember that little 5% of creatine stored elsewhere? Well, it turns out your brain is a major user of creatine and that ATP energy too.
Yep, just like your muscles, your brain stores creatine to make sure it has enough energy to function at its best. Some fascinating research even suggests that creatine supplementation could improve overall brain health and might even play a role in preventing certain neurologic diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Now, with such powerful benefits for both the body and the mind, it's totally natural to wonder about the downsides. There is a lot of misinformation out there, so let's just tackle the biggest concerns head-on and separate the myths from the reality.
This is probably the biggest myth of them all. It's the one that causes the most hesitation. So, does taking creatine actually harm your kidneys?
The reality? After decades of research on people of all ages, the science is pretty clear. For healthy individuals, creatine is safe for your kidneys. Now, the key word there is healthy. If you have any kind of pre-existing kidney condition, it is absolutely crucial that you talk with your doctor before even considering any new supplement. All right, let's tackle the next big concern. What is the deal with bloating? Is it going to make you feel puffy and just add a bunch of useless water weight? So here's what's really going on. Creatine works by pulling water into your muscle cells. This is actually part of the process that helps make them stronger and fuller. It can cause a temporary weight gain of about 1.5 to 3 pounds in that first week, but this initial water retention is totally normal, and it usually subsides.
Now that we've covered the what, the why, and the what ifs, let's get practical. If you decide creatine is something you want to try, how do you actually take it correctly and, most importantly, safely?
You've basically got two main options, and they're both effective. The first is called loading. You take a higher dose for about a week to quickly fill up your muscles, and then you drop down to a smaller maintenance dose. The simpler option is to just start with that daily maintenance dose of 3 to 5 grams. The only real difference is that loading gets you to the full benefits a little bit faster.
And let's be crystal clear about this. The benefits of creatine are not just for men. Study after study has shown that women experience very similar increases in strength, endurance, and performance.
It's an equal opportunity enhancer.
You're going to see a lot of fancy, expensive types of creatine out there. Don't get distracted. The overwhelming scientific consensus is that plain, simple creatine monohydrate is the most researched, the most effective, and by far the most affordable option.
So there you have it. We've gone through the science, the benefits, the myths, and the how-tos. You now have the facts. The next step is really to consider if creatine aligns with your personal health and fitness goals. But before you make any final decision, there are a couple of crucial safety points we absolutely have to cover.
Before we finish up, it is absolutely vital to state this clearly. The safety of supplements like creatine has not been established for certain groups, and that includes pregnant women, nursing mothers, children, or anyone with a pre-existing medical condition.
And that brings us to the single most important takeaway of this entire explainer. Before starting creatine, or frankly any new supplement routine, the most responsible step you can possibly take is to talk with your doctor or primary care provider first. Their guidance is essential for making a safe and informed decision for you.